Have you ever seen someone in their late 70s or early 80s stand up from a chair without using their hands? It looks so simple, yet studies show nearly 60% of seniors over 80 can't do it anymore. And here's the shocking part. The ability to do this one small movement often predicts how long you'll stay independent, and even how long you'll live. Think about it for a moment. You've walked through life, raised a family, maybe built a career, and faced challenges that required incredible strength. But one day, it's not the big things that steal your independence. It's something as small as struggling to get out of a chair or losing your balance when tying your shoes. I'll never forget visiting Mrs. Daniels, an 82-year-old widow who had always been full of life. She loved cooking, gardening, and laughing with her neighbors. But when she quietly admitted she could no longer stand up from her recliner without pushing herself up with both arms, it broke my heart. "It's just old age," she whispered. But here's the truth. It wasn't just old age. It was her body sending a warning sign, a signal that her muscles, balance, and health needed attention before it was too late. So let me ask you, can you still do this at 80? Or even at 70? And if not, what does it really mean for your future health? Stay with me, because in this video, we'll explore what this simple test reveals about your body, why it matters more than you think, what it means if you struggle with it, and, most importantly, the steps you can take starting today to protect your independence and your longevity. By the end, you won't just see a test. You'll see a mirror of your health, and you'll have a plan to keep living strong, steady, and free. All right, let's get right into it. Here's the test that researchers and doctors around the world quietly pay attention to when studying senior health. It doesn't involve any machines, no special gym equipment, and you can try it right now, wherever you're sitting. It's called the sit-to-stand test. Here's how it works. Sit in a chair, feet flat on the ground, arms crossed gently over your chest. Now, without using your hands, try to stand up. Can you do it smoothly? Can you sit back down again, keeping your balance, without your arms pushing you forward? It might sound ridiculously easy, but for many seniors after 70, this movement becomes harder than you'd expect. Why does this matter? Because this one little action combines almost everything your body relies on to stay independent. Leg strength, core stability, balance, and even cardiovascular endurance. If you can do it effortlessly, chances are your body is still working in harmony. But if you wobble, need to push off with your hands, or struggle to rise at all, it's a red flag that your health may not be as stable as you think. I remember visiting John, a 75-year-old retired mechanic. He was proud of still being able to fix things around the house, but when he tried the sit-to-stand test, he hesitated. His knees shook, his arms instinctively reached for the chair's armrest, and when he finally stood, he was out of breath. He laughed it off at first, saying, "Guess I'm just getting older." But deep down, it bothered him. That simple moment revealed that his legs weren't as strong as they used to be, and his balance was quietly slipping. The test is not meant to shame or discourage you. In fact, it's a gift, a little window into your body's current condition. Think of it as your body whispering, "Pay attention now, so you don't lose more later." Because if you catch these early signs, you can act before they become bigger problems. So, if you tried it while watching this, how did it feel? Smooth and steady, or a bit shaky? Either way, don't worry. This isn't the end of the story. In fact, what comes next is even more important. Because now we're going to uncover why this tiny test carries such a powerful message about your future health and independence. Now, you might be wondering, why does something as ordinary as standing up from a chair matter so much? After all, you've done it thousands of times in your life without thinking twice. But here's the truth. Research shows that seniors who struggle with the sit-to-stand test are more likely to face serious health problems, from loss of independence to a higher risk of falls, hospital visits, and even a shortened lifespan. That sounds dramatic, I know, but let me paint you a picture. Imagine two women, both 78 years old. One can stand up from her chair with ease, arms folded, steady on her feet. The other needs to grip the armrests, push herself up, and catch her balance before she can take a step. On the outside, they may look similar, but inside, their bodies are worlds apart. The first woman's muscles are strong enough to support her weight. Her balance system is still sharp, and her heart and lungs can handle the effort. That means she can keep doing simple daily tasks, cooking, shopping, gardening, without depending too much on others. The second woman, though, has already lost a portion of her strength and stability. That small struggle is her body's way of saying, I'm not as resilient as I used to be. And when resilience fades, independence is often the first thing to slip away. I'll never forget a story from Dr. Martinez, a geriatric specialist I once interviewed. He told me about a patient, Mr. Lewis, who was 81. Mr. Lewis came in after a minor fall at home. Nothing was broken, but during the exam, the doctor asked him to do the sit-to-stand test. Mr. Lewis couldn't get up without pushing hard on the chair and wobbling dangerously. The doctor knew right then that this was more than just a fall. It was a warning sign. Within a year, Mr. Lewis needed a walker, and by the next year, he required daily help just to move around. That's why this test matters. It isn't about showing off physical strength. It's about predicting how much longer you'll be able to live on your own terms. Independence is one of the most precious gifts in later life, and something as small as struggling to stand up from a chair can signal how close you are to losing it. So, the next time you rise from your seat, pay attention. Is your body telling you that you're still strong and steady? Or is it whispering a quiet warning that it's time to make some changes? And don't worry much, even if you struggled. It doesn't mean the future's hopeless. In fact, the good news is that there are ways to fight back, to rebuild, and to regain control. But before we talk about how to strengthen yourself, we need to face an even tougher question. What does it mean if you really can't do this test anymore? And what happens next if nothing changes? So let's face the hard question. What if you tried the sit-to-stand test and couldn't do it? Or maybe you barely managed it with a lot of effort. What does that really mean? First of all, let me reassure you, failing the test doesn't mean you're doomed. It doesn't mean you've run out of time. But it does mean your body is waving a red flag, asking for attention before the situation gets worse. Ignoring that flag is what turns a small weakness into a big setback. Think of Mr. Carter, a 77-year-old I once spoke with. He brushed off his struggles for years. When he noticed he needed to push on the chair to stand, he laughed it off. When his balance felt shaky, he told himself it was just a part of aging. But then came the day when he fell in his own kitchen, not because of a big accident, but because he simply couldn't rise steadily from a chair and take the first step. That fall cost him a fractured hip, months of rehab, and the painful realization that ignoring his body's whispers had led to a scream. The truth is, not being able to perform this simple movement tells us something profound. It means the muscles in your legs and core are weaker than they should be. It means your balance system, the one that has quietly kept you safe with every step for decades, is starting to falter. And it often signals that your overall health is more fragile than it appears. Doctors sometimes call this functional decline. It's not about how many years you have left, but about how well you'll be able to live those years. If standing up is already a challenge, imagine the toll it takes on carrying groceries, climbing stairs, or even getting out of bed in the morning. The chain reaction is clear. When strength goes down, activity goes down. And when activity goes down, health declines even faster. But here's where hope comes in. Recognizing the problem is the first step to changing it. Just like Mr. Carter, who, after his fall, finally took action, you too can reverse some of these struggles. He started small, standing up from his chair a few times a day, walking short distances, and adding gentle exercises. Slowly, he rebuilt the strength he thought was gone forever. So if you can't do the test right now, don't feel ashamed. Instead, see it as your body's invitation to start strengthening again, to take back what age has tried to steal. And the good news? There are simple, practical steps you can start today to improve. Steps that don't require fancy equipment or hours at the gym. Up next, let's talk about exactly how you can do that. 3 straightforward things you can practice right now to rebuild strength, improve balance, and protect your independence. So here's the best news of all. Even if you struggled with the test, even if your legs feel shaky or your balance isn't what it used to be, you're not powerless. In fact, your body is remarkably adaptable, no matter your age. Small, consistent changes can bring back strength, stability, and confidence. Let me share 3 simple steps you can start today. The first step is to practice the movement itself. Yes, the very same sit-to-stand test can become your exercise. Start by sitting in a sturdy chair, feet flat, arms crossed. Try standing up and sitting down slowly 5 times in a row. At first, it may feel tough, but that's the point. Each repetition is like telling your muscles, "Wake up, we're not done yet." I once watched Mrs. Green, a 79-year-old who struggled to stand even once, slowly improve to doing 10 in a row after just a few weeks of practice. Her secret wasn't pushing herself too hard. It was showing up every single day. The second step is to walk with intention, not just habit. Many seniors say, "I already walk every day." But here's the key. Quality matters more than quantity. Instead of shuffling around the house, try a steady-paced walk for 10 minutes, focusing on posture, shoulders back, eyes forward, core gently engaged. Walking this way doesn't just move your legs, it trains your balance system and strengthens your heart. Harold, a 74-year-old veteran I knew, went from short, stiff steps to confident strides simply by being mindful about how he walked. His neighbors even noticed the difference, telling him, "You look taller these days." The third step is to add balance and core training. This doesn't mean heavy gym workouts. Something as simple as standing near a counter and lifting one foot off the ground for 10 seconds can retrain your balance nerves. Or try gentle core exercises like pulling your belly button slightly in while breathing deeply. Balance is like an insurance policy for your independence. The more you practice, the less likely you are to fall, and the more confident you'll feel doing everyday things. And here's the beauty of it. These steps don't just help you pass a test. They ripple out into your whole life. Getting up from the couch becomes easier. Carrying groceries feels less exhausting. Even climbing into bed at night feels steadier and safer. The secret isn't perfection, it's progress. Your body doesn't need you to move like you did at 30. It just needs you to keep reminding it that strength and stability still matter. Every rep, every walk, every balance hold is a message to your future self. I'm still in this. I'm still fighting for my independence. So now you know the test, you know why it matters, you know what it means if you struggle, and you know exactly how to begin strengthening again. But before we wrap up, let's bring it all together with a final thought and a challenge for you to take action starting today. So let's bring this all together. A simple act, standing up from a chair without using your hands, can reveal more about your health and independence than you might imagine. We saw how this one movement is tied to strength, balance, heart health, and even longevity itself. If you can do it with ease, that's wonderful. Keep practicing to stay ahead. If you struggled, don't see it as a defeat. See it as your body's gentle warning, and more importantly, as your opportunity to fight back. Remember, small, consistent steps matter. Practice the sit-to-stand exercise each day. Walk with intention instead of habit, and give your balance and core the attention they deserve. These aren't just exercises. They're investments. in your freedom, in your confidence, and in the life you want to keep living on your own terms. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Were you able to stand up from your chair without using your hands? Or did you feel a wobble, maybe some strain in your knees or core? Share your experience in the comments, even just a simple yes or no. Your story might inspire someone else watching today. And if this video gave you something valuable, please like it, share it with a friend who might need this encouragement, and subscribe with the bell turned on. Because the truth is, every week we're uncovering insights that can help you protect your health, your peace of mind, and your independence. And don't miss the next video. It's one you'll want to see before another day slips by. Sometimes the smallest daily habits carry the biggest risks, and you deserve to know which ones they are.